So I just took a break for a moment and noticed something going on my Discord. A couple of the guys over there were talking about this terminal they just discovered. This terminal called Warp. And you know what? I fully support the grift. So back on April 5th, 2022, TechCrunch posted this article. You can't see it because it's on the wrong window. TechCrunch posted this article. Warp raises 23 million to build a better terminal. The terminals often feels like an afterthought, and there hasn't been a lot of innovation in this space for a very long time. What? What do you mean? Do we just forget that Alacrity and Kitty exist? Sure. No innovation. Zero innovation. Sure. Warp, which is launching its public beta today and announcing 23 million in funding, is trying to change this by building a new command line terminal that aims to make better developers more productive. Or aims to make developers more productive. Now the Warp public beta is only available on macOS, but the company promises Windows and Linux versions in the future. When it gets a Linux version, I'm without a doubt doing a video on it. As the company announced today, it previously raised a 6 million seed round led by GV. What? Why did it get 23 million? I've been a developer now for 20 years. Warp co-founder and CEO Zach Lloyd, who was previously a principal engineer at Google and the interim CTO for Time. I've always been a terminal user. I've always thought it was kind of a weird app, to be honest. But it's an interesting app in the sense that it's ubiquitous. You walk by any developer's desk and they're going to have a terminal open. There are only a couple of apps like that. The terminal and the code editor. Web browser, I would argue, is probably on that list. And chat application. And yeah, probably that. You can argue music app, but I would say terminal, code editor or IDE, and chat app. Yeah. So I thought it was an interesting leverage point for doing something that would have an impact across all developers. And then if you can get really good at it, you actually get a load of productive gains. Out of the box, Warp works with shells like ZSH, Fish, and Bash, which makes sense because it's going to run on macOS, which has ZSH, Fish. Well, it ships with ZSH, you can run Fish and Bash. In many ways, the user experience is reminiscent of a modern text editor with code completion and auto suggestions. So we're going to go over to the documentation here and see what it actually can do. But there are also features like cursor positioning, the ability to move back through your terminal. 23 million! But there are also features like cursor positioning. The ability to move back through your terminal history command and then copy the output with a single click. You mean the thing that most terminals can already do? And then copy the output with built-in documentation. Do you mean for the terminal or for the applications? I hope you mean for the terminal, that isn't like a selling point. You can just run a man page on every terminal that exists. There are features that may seem obvious at first, but aren't really available in today's terminals. Being able to move the cursor wherever you need it shouldn't be a new thing in terminals. But it is? No, it's not! Has this writer ever used a terminal? Oh my god! The Warp Terminal does, of course, feature standard features like tabs, sure, split panes, keyboard shortcuts, and built-in SSH. What do you mean built-in SSH support? You run at the SSH command. What are you saying? What are these words? With Warp, developers can also share workflows with the rest of their team. This is where we get into really fucking dangerous stuff that shouldn't be in a terminal. While at Google, Lloyd worked on Google Docs, and he noted that something he took away from that is that anytime you can take an existing desktop app and add collaboration and teamwork on top of it, you can unlock quite a bit of productivity. It's maybe no surprise then that collaboration is part of what what he hopes will make Warp stand out and be part of the company's monetization strategy. This actually is a like new feature. It's just not something you probably want in the terminal. Currently, the collaboration features mostly center around the ability to easily share commands and their output, as well as workflows, but soon Warp will also introduce the ability to share... Share what? Did you... you didn't finish the sentence. Warp will also introduce the ability to share. I'm reading that right. They just stopped the sentence. Anything else to note in the TechCrunch article? No. Okay, so there is this demo here. Let's have a look at the demo. Let's do it on YouTube. I guess this is a teaser. So let's see what it can do. So, commands and outputs are grouped together. So we have a line, which is something you can do with a shell command. Oh, with a shell plugin. Multi-cursor editing, which, hey, is neat, but, you know, isn't really that new because you can already do this in ZSH. Because you can, ZSH has this, like, Vi mode where you can open up the command in Vi and then do all of that. So, yeah, it's not actually a new thing. Okay, what else can we do? Let's see, what else do we have that's new? We have, look at that. We have autocomplete. It is a graphical autocomplete, which is a little bit different to the way that a lot of terminals do it, but I've seen other terminals do this. Like this, having tab completion like that isn't new by any means. And also, this is going to be very, very picky about what it works with. Because these are definitely custom written. These are not extracted from the man page. I'm 99% sure that's not extracted from the man page. I'm going to check it right now just to be sure. GPG-sign. Actually, wait. Git-commit. We'll do it on that one. GPG-sign. Nope, that is... Okay, no, maybe it is being extracted from the man page. Okay, I take back what I said. I was wrong about that. But that also means the documentation isn't going to be very useful a lot of the time because a lot of it is being cut off. So a lot of the time, the first sentence doesn't actually say anything that useful. But I was wrong. I'll admit that. What else do we have? Visual history. Basically, what we've done is taken a regular terminal. Look at this. Look, I'm going to show you something, right? Okay. Here is the history command. I don't know why it's showing that. My history is a little bit scuffed because of random stuff that I've got set up. Here we go. Bring here. And boop. Look at that. History. Crazy. And with certain commands and certain setups, you can just like scroll back through the history as much as you want. So that's also not new. And this is history search anyway. So I can do that by just pressing Control R and then search back through the history. Sure. Okay. Something totally not new. Command palette. I've seen this in... This is basically like commands for the terminal itself. So you want to do things like, open up new tabs, things like that. Make a split, things like that. I've seen that before in a couple of terminals, mainly the Electron ones. But this is native Rust, so it is going to be a lot faster than those Electron ones. That is something that is a selling point. I'll give it that. It's definitely going to be... It'll definitely be a quick terminal. They don't show the most terrifying feature. Do they mention it here? They don't mention it here. you can make a permalink. So you can actually make a link to something that you've put into your shell, which is totally not going to be very exploited when it comes out and people realize that there's like a massive bug in it. What is this SSH thing here? What do we have? When you SSH into a remote box, you get all the features of Warp without any configuration on your part. Like every other terminal on the planet. What? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean you get the features of Warp? Of course you do. You're using SSH in your terminal. I don't understand how they got 23 million. AI command search. Okay. So this is converts natural language descriptions into shell commands. Okay, I'll give you that. That one actually could be cool. Okay, you know what? That actually is neat. I'll give you that. Write documentation and ask. Yep, okay. Yeah, that actually is a cool feature. It's probably going to steal all of your data, but it's not something I've seen before, and I would say is potentially a selling point for certain people. Workflows. Yeah. How is this different from an alias? What do we have here? So, what are we doing? Are these like autofill commands? I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Like you can, yeah, so these are commands that have patterns in them, and then you can go through and replace the patterns. Okay, that's neat. I'm pretty sure there are ZSH plugins that you can do this with. Also, yeah, you can do this with Vim already. There's also that. You need a context switch, which I guess if you think is a bigger deal, but I would argue that completely blocking your entire screen is equivalent to context switching anyway. So I would say that's basically the same thing. They're not easily parameterized. I would say this is probably as easily parameterizable as you would be able to do it in Vim anyway. So, what do we have here for themes? Okay. Themes are located in the .warp directory. Sure. You have themes. Okay. It syncs with your system theme. Hey, look, that's neat, I guess. Prompt. Ooh. Enable custom prompt support by navigating. You need to enable the custom prompt. Shut the fuck up. Oh, God. Okay. Wait, power level 10k and Z-plug? Z-plug is not a prompt. What? Why is power line shell not working? How is power line shell not working? All you're doing is generating text on your screen. How did you manage to break that? Oh my god, I'm impressed by some of this stuff, actually. Notifications. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's just, okay. Accessibility. What do we have here? Warp with voiceover. Okay, that's nice. But you can already do voiceover in other workflows, but how is it different? As you may notice, typical voiceover navigation keys or settings do not currently work in Warp. In short, it's related to how our UI framework... Wait, you're saying it's worse? Okay, I guess that's a good selling point. Compact mode. What is compact mode? Warp offers the option to enable compact mode, which condenses the space between blocks. Oh, so it just enables regular terminal mode. I like how they call a regular terminal compact mode. That's actually beautiful. Oh my god. I don't know how they've raised 23 million for this. I genuinely don't. Like, sure, it's probably going to be a good terminal. Like, I'm not going to say it's going to be a terrible terminal or anything like that. I wouldn't really want to run a proprietary terminal, but I'm sure that someone's going to. There is a GitHub, but it doesn't actually have the source code on it. So this is the terminal. It has, I think it's just their, yeah, it's got the themes, which, hey, that's cool. You've got themes on here. You've got, what is this, workflows? So I'm guessing the repo for all public work. Okay, so this is the default, like, autofill commands they have available. And then the key sets, I'm guessing is keyboard shortcuts. But the actual source code here is certainly not available. There's 700 issues here. I guess people are really excited for this. Maybe they just don't. Wait, does Alacrity work on macOS? Alacrity macOS. Yes. Okay. Look, I'm not saying. Also, it's a cloud-based terminal. There's also that. I'll go to their website because everything's gonna be fucking cloud-based. That's where the AI comes from. So that's where it's gonna steal all your data from. Warp is a blazingly fast, Rust-based terminal reimagined from the ground up to work like a modern app. It's certainly got some inspiration here from Visual Studio. Like, I think this can be good if it's actually fast. Because all of the stuff that this app is doing, except for the AI stuff, has been done in what the fuck's the terminal called? Electron terminal. Hyper. Yeah, a lot of the same stuff has been done in Hyper. Hyper, though, is slow as fuck. But, as I said, this is going to be a native Rust application. It's going to run at 60 FPS on 4K screens. Yeah, like every terminal should already. Along the way, we built our own UI framework. Why did you do that? Input feels like a code editor. Any other fun stuff I didn't mention? Terminal sharing. Here we go. So you can have multiple people typing on the same terminal, but that makes no sense because, wait, can they both output commands at the same time? Because if they can't do that, literally all they're doing is screen sharing. Look, that's new. I'll say it's new. I just don't see the point of it. What else do we have? Run your documentation inside the terminal. Replace wikis with native terminal document notebooks that mix documentation and CLI commands. So it's a markdown. It's a markdown document. It's you made a markdown document renderer. What else do we have in here? So who is shilling it? Anyone that I recognize? I'm not seeing anyone. Anybody? No. The CEO at GitHub. Well, I guess the CEO at GitHub thinks it looks cool. Oh, look, I'm gonna say it looks cool. I'll give it that. I just don't understand how they made 23 million for this. I respect the grift. I want to say that. I want to make this very clear. I totally respect the grift. If you can convince people to pay you $23 million to do something that is not worth $23 million, I respect that. And I can respect the hustle. Man's got to make some money.